Democrats must have all grown up as theater kids because they're all very dramatic and they're all looking for their moment to shine. And Senator Alex Padilla is no exception. He must have taken lessons from someone like Cory Booker, who's also very dramatic. Because last week, if you haven't heard, Senator Alex Padilla was not arrested, he's manhandled by Secret Service and FBI for crashing a DHS presser with Kristi Noem. And it got all over the internet and it went super viral. Let's watch the video now about just so you can have some context. If you haven't seen it, it's been around for the past couple of days and that's all they've been talking about. But we're also going to talk about sort of the fallout and Padilla's reaction to it. Spoiler alert, he's not letting it go and he is running with this for as much as he possibly can.
So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles.
Half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go and stand behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here per FBI regs.
So that's the video. That's Alex Padilla getting dragged out and put in handcuffs for crashing a presser. Now there's conflicting reports. He's saying I mean he did shout himself that he was Senator Alex Padilla. He wasn't wearing his Senate pin, which designates that he is a senator. It's a pin that's given out just to senators. He didn't have that. Regardless of all of that, I think you don't crash into a DHS presser when you're the senator, because you know why? As a senator of the United States, you have access to get to Kristi Noem. You have a way to sit down and talk to her. There is a way you can contact her office and say, I'd like to sit down with Kristi Noem and talk about everything that's going on and have an adult and professional conversation about it. Instead, Alex Padilla marched into a presser, acted a fool, got pushed back because let me tell you that I follow politics a lot, but I'm pretty sure outside of like the big senators that are out there, I don't think I'd be able to recognize probably more than 80% of the senators if they passed by me on the street. I wouldn't be able to, like, if you just walked by me as a senator, I wouldn't be, oh, that's a senator. I know I got to, stand back and like, that's a senator. And most of these guys who are Secret Service, they're probably just trained in reactionary tactics. If someone's barging in, they're shouting, they're causing a disturbance, they're marching towards Kristi Noem. Their instinct and their training is to stop what they believe or perceive to be a threat. And again, if you're not well-versed in politics and you're not up on it and a guy comes crashing in, he has no identification, he just yells something, obviously they're going to have a reaction. And the reaction was, okay, you're causing a disturbance. We got to take you out. This could be a security threat. But again, I come back to this whole thing of like, you could have gone through like the professional route. You could have gone through the mature adult route, which is you could have said, I want to sit down and talk to Kristi Noem in DC where we both work and it's not very far from each other. But instead, I'm going to come crashing into this presser and make a big scene. Now, obviously, he went viral. He's gotten a lot of attention. It was all over the place. Everyone was talking about it. The whole thing was, well, if they can do this to a sitting senator, then imagine who they can do this to. It's more of this fear mongering of, well, if they can do it to a sitting senator, then imagine what they can do to you. And I remember not too long ago, I thought I was told like nobody's above the law, and treating senators like there's some sort of royalty is not really in our American values. But here he is appearing on CNN discussing that and whether it really was his intent to go viral or not.
I'm sure you've seen the DHS spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin posted that you, quote, tried to manufacture a viral moment.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
What are the odds? I was in a federal building, a couple of doors down, awaiting a briefing from Northern Command, because I still believe the federalization of the National Guard troops and deployment in Los Angeles was not only unlawful, unjustified, but counterproductive. It's what's escalated the tensions in Los Angeles. The sending in the Marines, as a result, like, things have been quieting down day after day, so why do you escalate by sending in the Marines? And an opportunity to ask a question, maybe get answers that DHS, including the Secretary, will not provide in committee hearings in the Senate, will not respond to the letters that we've sent inquiring. There was an opportunity to ask a question and do my job as a senator, right? Do my job as a senator in questioning a cabinet secretary.
Well, it's obviously to go viral. Like, I think we can, I think we can be pretty clear that it was to go viral. There's no question that you wanted this so that it would go viral so you could make a big scene. Again, you wouldn't have marched into a presser like that and caused a scene if you didn't want the scene to go viral. It's sort of like LaMonaco did the thing in like the New Jersey facility. She made a whole big scene. It's like AOC showing up in her whole viral scene. And then it's like Maxine Waters showing up to check on David Huerta in the ICE facility. Like, these are all like manufactured publicity stunts that aren't really changing the narrative. They're not really accomplishing anything besides getting that viral moment. And I want to say something about Alex Padilla real quick. Alex Padilla was appointed by Gavin Newsom to be senator. He took over for, was it Barbara Boxer, who had been there forever? So he was appointed because Barbara Boxer had stepped down. And he was appointed only on the basis of, not according to Gavin Newsom, but one of the biggest reasons was that he was the first Latino senator from California. That was the big thing. Alex Padilla was appointed. Now, he's won every subsequent election since then, because once you're an incumbent, it's impossible to get you out. So he was gifted the Senate seat, and he's going to probably be there forever. And who knows if he's ever going to move on to something else like governor or president or anything like that. But he was gifted this seat. And now he's trying to up his profile. He's trying to make a big deal about this. There is an article that came out recently in the California Globe that shows that not only was he not trying to go viral, but he also used this to go ahead and try and fundraise off of it. He has an email that says, "I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half dozen krills." No, that's part of what he said. But he did send out an email basically talking about what had happened to him and used it as a fundraising opportunity. So even though he says it wasn't to go viral, he's definitely upping his status, basically his personality, and fundraising off of it as well. But not to be outdone, not to let it go so quickly. He had to get one more moment, one more dramatic moment on the Senate floor about his harrowing experience. I apologize. This clip does have some music in the background, but either way, you'll get the idea.
Was forced to the ground. First on my knees, and then flat on my chest. And as I was handcuffed and marched down a hallway, repeatedly asking, "Why am I being detained?" Not once did they tell me why. I pray you never have a moment like this. But I will tell you, in that moment, a lot of questions came to my mind. First of all, where are they taking me? Because I know I'm not just being escorted out of the building. Am I being arrested here? And what will a city already on edge from being militarized think when they see their United States senator being handcuffed just for trying to ask a question.
Very dramatic. How moving to say that on the again, he probably took lessons from Cory Booker, because that sort of drama definitely comes from someone like Cory Booker. But again, you tried to ask a question in a way that was confrontational. It was taking a lot of Secret Service and law enforcement off guard. A lot of people didn't know who you were. You just came barging in. Stephen A. Smith, who is, I guess, I don't know, they keep saying he wants to run for president in 2028 or something like that. He keeps getting more and more involved in politics. He had this take to say about Alex Padilla.
Here you have this senator, Alex Padilla. Can Kristi Noem speak? Could you have waited till she finished to ask your questions? To shout your questions? You are a senator, right? You couldn't wait? So that was just you out of control because you were just losing it, huh? You, a United States senator, couldn't compose yourself and let the head of Homeland Security finish her thoughts before you asked the question. Couldn't do that, huh? Couldn't do it, huh?
Right. He couldn't wait. He had to create this scene. And I want to bring this up real quick because I think it's worth repeating over and over again. Democrats are making this an enormous issue, and it's still not a winning issue for Democrats. And I'm not sure what some people have their theories. Some people want to say, like, they have all these different theories why they keep doing this, but it has not been a winning theory. This was CNN. They talked about it. Corner analysis of American National Election Studios. Immigrant voters who favored Democrats by 32 points on immigration policy in 2020 now trust Republicans more on the issue by 8 points, a staggering 40-point swing. Trump's share of the immigrant vote has steadily increased from 36% in 2016 to 39% in 2020, and now to 47% in 2024. Perhaps even more telling, this is all from Newsweek, is more telling how immigrant voters feel about immigrants who are in the country illegally. In 2020, their net favorability stood at 23 points. This year, that has flipped to -6, a 29-point decline in support for undocumented immigrants among immigrants themselves. So even immigrants themselves are turning on this issue. So if Democrats think they are winning immigrants on this issue, they are on the losing side of this issue. So it doesn't matter how many viral moments, how much you cry, all of that stuff, you're on the losing side of this. The American people and those who are voting are not on your side about this. Let's take a minute to check how the chat is doing, how people are doing in the chat. Something went on with Instagram. That's odd. I thought we were live on Instagram, but I guess something happened. So anyway, sorry about that to Instagram viewers. YouTube still up. Someone said, I wish we had a single congressman or senator like Thomas Massie in California. I would agree. Like Thomas Massie, I know some people don't like him because he disagrees with President Trump, but I love Thomas Massie because he speaks his mind and he's pretty straightforward. And he seems to be right about a lot of things. Someone else said it was a press conference, speakers talk, then it's Q&A. Padilla was unhinged and unprofessional. He looked menacing. He was rude talking over Noem. The security did their job. Yeah, it's, again, somebody comes barging in out of nowhere, just barges in, starts screaming something and charging towards Kristi Noem. They're all trained to do one thing, which is stop and neutralize the threat. And that's exactly what they did. And, you know, he wasn't, he said he yelled his name. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I don't know if that's good enough for security because I guess you could walk in anywhere and say you're senator of something. What if he was, just a local state senator or something like that? Like, a lot of people, you don't know every single politician who's out there. So for him to just be like, everyone should know who I am. I'm Alex Padilla. Kind of presumptuous. there's decorum, there's ways to act, and Alex Padilla did not act like he should have.